Hello, hello, hello. This is Rockin the Love. I'm Robyn.
And I'm Gil, and we are joining you this Wednesday afternoon, evening, morning of Valentine's Day. Woohoo,
Valentine's Day.
2024.
Woohoo, a day where we're supposed to love more. We're supposed to acknowledge all the things we love, right?
Indeed,
That's an
indeed.
interesting holiday. Yeah. But hey, anything that promotes love is good, right?
That's
So
right.
thank you for joining us. If you're here with us, just feel free to put your name and where you're coming in from in the chat so we can say hello and see what's out there and chit chat with you. Um, and make sure you like us on social media and, hit the like buttons, do all those things that we ask you to do. Um, so,
Yeah,
full disclosure, we are producing our own show today, so be prepared for anything to happen because we've got our hands on buttons and things that we have no business having our hands on. so, so we're going to do our best, but just know that our wonderful producer Michael Mangus is not with us today. He is out marrying somebody who is also celebrating that love.
yes, Valentine's Day wedding. Wow, how exciting.
All right. And for those of
Ah,
you that don't know, we are a married couple, which you'll certainly be able to tell, I'm sure, momentarily. Um, and we live in different parts of the United States. So Gil is in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I am currently in Carlsbad, California. So, we kind of rock the love with the frequent flyer miles, right? Among
yeah.
other things. So, Mr. Olmsted, how was your week?
My week has been really fun and interesting. We had a great time over the weekend. Um, we had Charles Holt on our show last week, and he was in concert and did a workshop for the folks at the center this weekend, and it was just really fun. Everybody was so happy and enjoyed it and had a good time.
That was great. That's
So that
great.
was good. Yeah, it was
That's
it
great.
was it was good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and now I'm moving into the next week. We work through some housing questions, and we have a new lease on life, if you will, at the moment. So everything looks good.
For those of you who aren't married to Gil, that means we got our leases renewed at the place where we live.
In
Sometimes you got to
Albuquerque.
decode. Love is all about decoding. Well, that's good.
How about you?
My week was good. Um, Again, I was embroiled in all of those things that you're talking about, and there was something I thought, oh, I wanna talk about it during my how was my week, and now I don't remember because you know, but you know what I mean. Like a week, it's such a big chunk of time.
It is.
I
It
mean,
is.
in this land of no time and space, it's like like I was thinking, even just the Super Bowl, which was 2 days ago or 3 days ago, seems like a while ago. Um, yeah, it's been a good week. I feel a little more settled, and I think like the housing thing even just gave it even to turn something down to not move to a place we were talking about moving felt like we were making decisions, and so it didn't really matter if it was a yes or a no, but it was some kind of clarity. So it feels like I've been moving into more clarity in the week, I would say. I don't know. That's my short. How was the week?
All right. Hey, anybody else out there wants to tell us about your week? Let us know in the comments.
That's exactly what I was
Here.
thinking.
Yeah, we'd love to hear
Good
from
to
what's
hear
going
you.
on out there.
Um, all right. So now I guess it's time for the good news.
And now the good news. Wow, that was pretty good button pushing. Uh, oh, you want to hear my good news?
Well,
I
I
know
don't
that
want you to
look.
acknowledge everything I do well, or the show will be about something entirely different.
Okay.
So, yes. So this is our
Okay.
segment. This is our segment where we talk about what's good in the world. Um, there's always an opportunity to find what isn't working, and yet there's so much good going on that we don't always acknowledge. So, tell us what you got.
All right. Well, first of all, happy Valentine's Day to Shay. We're glad to see you there. So this is my good news. I thought I would surprise my wife with a story about the Super Bowl because she knows how much I love sports. So,
That's
did you
sarcasm
know?
for those of you decoding. Okay, go
Did
ahead.
you know that the Super Bowl was entirely powered by renewable energy?
I didn't know that.
Yep. They contract with a huge solar farm out in Nevada, and all of the power was supplied from renewable energy. They have, set it up so that it has, uses less air conditioning, and the lights are all done so that they're the most efficient. And in addition to that, they have things like they recycle all the food scraps to go out to farms to feed animals instead of going into the trash, and
Wow.
all kinds of different things like that that are kind of quite interesting. So it's very, very intentionally um, environmentally friendly as much as it can be. But I thought it was fascinating that they were able to, actually the power for everything on that day was renewable.
Well, that's incredible. That's
Yeah.
incredible because there was a lot going on.
Yeah. No kidding.
There was a lot going on in that halftime show, and I can only imagine how much food and waste there must be
At a stadium that size, I
at a
mean, come on.
stadium that size in
Yeah.
Vegas, you know.
Yeah.
Wow, that's well, bravo. That's amazing. That's great.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty cool. So, hey, sometimes we get it right. So even though this whole big brand new stadium was built recently in the last few years, it also seems to be a, um, a picture of what's possible when we put our minds to it.
Right.
So,
Right. That's great. Yeah, well, I mean, yeah, I think that that's good news. I mean, in every one of these stories that we do, it's great to see the incline in thinking, forward thinking. And
mhm.
yeah. All right. Well, my story is about um, penguins, and they're
Penguins.
yeah. Sometimes I really like the animal stories because I think it just speaks to our oneness. Like when we say we're all one, like really, what does that mean? And like when we did the story on the consciousness of the fish that returns to meet the man every year. It's like that's incredible, and yet why is it incredible if we're all one? Anyway, so this one is about a penguin who there are two penguins, and one penguin became a guide bird companion for a zoo pal of his at at the zoo that it was suffering from cataracts, and the penguin had poor eyesight and would get like super antsy, um, when it was feeding time, especially because, all the penguins would get excited and they'd be like squawking in their beaks, and all of those things. And this penguin, would back off and, get very disoriented sometimes. And this one penguin named Penguin would, would help the other penguin, which is named Squid. let's not talk about that. So but Penguin became Squid's like beacon and guiding light to guide her around the enclosure and act as her eyes. And they observed that like that this intuitive behavior between the two penguins was just really revealed just a remarkable level of empathy and understanding, and just showing the profound connection that can form with the animal kingdom. And this took place in England, but I just thought it was, to me that's so miraculous, and yet why, right? But like to think that they, that they can really know and intuit and see and move into that place of, guiding and helping and just, I don't know, being that's kind of support. So that's my story.
Incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And they said, they did say that, that the cataracts is operable, but at this point, they really didn't even see the need because of the system that had been built into their
because of the support for the other. Yeah. Wow. So there you go. We think that we're the only ones that care about each other and do stuff.
Yeah. We think
perhaps we're wrong. I think we're so special. Oh.
And we are, but there are more. We're all special. It's just acknowledging all the things that are special. So
yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about in a little bit. We're going to talk about love and how special it can be, and the everyday love, not just on this delightful Hallmark holiday. So if you are going to stick with us, grab a cup of coffee or whatever you need to do and come right back here, and we'll be back after this message on New Thought Media Network.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
It was a treat. It was a bonding. It was a celebration of men. It was a celebration of men who want to deepen in their spiritual awareness of one another, of themselves.
Welcome. We are a brotherhood of spiritually minded and open-hearted positive men. We invite you to join us.
And I came in knowing one person. I left knowing all of the group. And I feel like I came in knowing meeting strangers, but knowing and leaving brothers.
Come experience the New Thought Men's Gathering, Foundations 2024. Friday, March 15th through Sunday, March 17th. With Reverend Robert Brzezinski, Reverend Patrick Creelman, Reverend Eamon Duffy, and special guest musician Jamie Lula. In Vernonia, Oregon, at Camp Cedar Ridge. Learn more and register at www.newthoughtmens.community.
And we're back. Thank you for joining us. This is Rockin the Love. I am Robyn.
And I'm Gil, and we are your hosts for this lovely show that we do weekly on Wednesdays, and we have so much fun doing. The best part about it is all those who are out there who are participating with us, and we just want to again say thank you to everyone for being with us. This is Valentine's Day, and we are talking about everyday love. What's that mean?
Good question.
Love happens every day.
It does happen every day. And yet there's days where we put more attention on it than others.
Right.
So what Gil and I had set out to do today was to talk about that via having taken some of those what do you call it, love language type tests, or I don't know what is that.
Love language tests. That's what they are.
Yeah. And so we did. But however, in great communication style, we did different tests and and got different results. So I don't know where you want to start. Do you?
Well, did your test give you the picture of the percentages of the different aspects of love language, different love languages that you respond to?
No.
Didn't?
No.
Oh. Well, that's too bad. How else does it tell you what you came up with for an answer?
Okay. Don't ask me how. Just tell me what you.
No, I'm asking because I'm curious what it's telling you.
Okay. I don't know. Just tell me what you want to know. We don't know.
Okay. Well, anyway, I took the test and I came out highest on acts of service and lowest on receiving gifts as my love languages.
Lowest on receiving gifts? Oh, that was
Right.
your lowest priority.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I know mine was higher in receiving gifts, I'm sure. I'm sure.
So what are those things? What are they talking about with those things? When they talk about gifts and acts of service, and they have these various different things, and do you know what they are? What the different ones are?
Okay, we're going to structure this a different way because if you're asking me questions I can't answer, so and that I don't have the answers to because I don't have a test like that. I have a test about what did you fall in love with? What was important to you when you met your partner?
Well, that has nothing to do. Okay, that's not the test you sent me. The one I looked at that you sent was just like this one.
Okay, well, that's
really
the one I
interesting.
have, but I can't get to those answers. So
Okay.
okay.
So talk about what you have.
Okay. All right. This is a moment in marriage where I'd like to kill him. Really? So one of the things that is important to me is how supportive a partner is. And so that just happens to be coming up for me in this particular moment. I think as adults, we're attracted to certain things. So one of the first questions was, in 90 seconds, write down the top 3 things that attracted you to your partner. So that's what I did. Which is also
okay.
a link that I
That's
sent.
so interesting because what you sent me and what I opened up had the exact same kind of questions as the one that I have the results to. So that's why I wasn't worried about it, because it's the same exact thing. But it's obviously you did something different, totally different.
Shay apparently is appreciating our marital moment. So, yeah, I can't get to those results. I tried to tell you that before the show. So what just off the top of your head, what were you attracted to?
Okay. So top of my head, I would say I was attracted to your intelligence, to your insight, and to your caring.
And I said I was attracted to your humor. Ha ha ha. That was my first thing, even though you don't think I think you're funny. Your generosity and your kindness.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. How's that working for you now?
And then the next question was to take the next 90 seconds and write down 5 characteristics about your spouse that could be the same but or different that from from when you got married that is okay over time. Like, what do we appreciate most now?
Over time?
Yeah.
Like what now? Okay.
5
All right.
characteristics.
5 characteristics.
And I encourage you all to do this at home if you have partners or relationships or friends that you want to even just dive deeper into your friendships and your things. So what were you attracted to, and what are the characteristics you're seeing now?
Well, just as a time out here, it seems like these things are the things that really reveal to us what's important to us. I mean, it's great to acknowledge what's in a partner, what's in your friends, but the reality is that when we do this kind of thing, we get to know who we are and what we value. And that's the gift in it. So it doesn't become about someone else. It's really about our own process. So 5 things I'm supposed to tell you?
Yeah.
Oh, geez, that's too many. And how they worded again? 5 things that are.
You're killing me today.
I know, but I want to know because I want to answer it appropriately.
Take another 90 seconds and write down 5 favorite characteristics: loving, kind, fun, whatever.
Got it. Okay.
Your spouse now that you've had 20 years here. And, then they might be the same and they might be different.
Okay. Well, I love how forgiving my wife is. I really appreciate, I do really appreciate her intelligence and brilliance in terms of what happens in our life. I appreciate, value her friendship. That's a huge thing. And I really love that she's super giving. She gives to everybody, and that includes me. But it's definitely true of all of your life, Robyn. And I really love it when you're having fun. I love the characteristic of you having fun because you're very fun.
Thanks. Those are nice.
Aren't they though?
What does that mean? Yeah, they are. They're nice. Well, what I said for you is I appreciate that you are a dreamer, that you are creative, that you are intuitive, that you are, this one will surprise you, I think, that you are flexible and open. And that you're a gamer, that you're fun and spontaneous.
Well, those things all pretty much reflect you. I would have to say.
That's the way they say these things go. All right.
Ah,
So Shay says, what I most appreciate about myself. Exactly, Gil. She's agreeing with you from your deduction.
yes.
She said, for her, it's loving commitment to myself, my internal, external beauty, wisdom, her ability to connect with herself, God, and others, and radical acceptance. Nice. Those are nice. Those are, I mean, that's money. Those are the ones we pay for workshops on. Those. I mean, that's golden. That's the golden ticket. Radical acceptance,
Wow.
and I would say coupled with radical forgiveness. Yeah. So yeah, I'm sorry that I can't get to my results, but I know that they were. I mean, I can try to do it as we speak, but I know that, it's interesting what you said your results were, because I think mine are pretty much the opposite.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah.
I mean, just from what I know.
Yeah.
I mean, except you like acts of service with a tool belt.
I like acts of service. I mean, that could be construed the wrong way. So what we're talking about is Gil's love language is to do things like, he fixes the toilet and is giving to me, and I'm like, okay, now can we have the time? Now can we snuggle and watch a movie? And now can we be together? He's like, I've been doing this for you all day. And it's like, yeah, so we're kind of in the opposite spectrum there. Right.
Well, it seems like it sometimes, but I think it's really interesting to just be aware that sometimes we really need to stretch, if you will, to think about what it is that the other person really responds to, values, recognizes as love, right?
Yes.
Because sometimes the effort gets expended on things that don't add up for the other person.
Yeah, and Shay is saying mine is definitely quality time. And yeah, I think that's so important, because I think mine has a lot to do with quality time too. And I actually realized as I was doing these tests that, like, well, that's really a challenge for us right now.
Yeah.
And has been for the last, year or so that we've been apart. But I think what's super important about this for, relationships and for our relationship with ourselves is that, if we don't understand our partner's love needs, love language, love desires, then we'll project our own onto that. And when we project, our own, it becomes, why didn't you, or why can't you, or why do you never, and the other person doesn't even have an understanding of what is needed, right?
Absolutely. I think it's really fascinating how we can be as a race, as a humanity, that there can be so many acts of love happening out there that go completely unnoticed because other people don't recognize it. I mean, I think there's probably so much more love happening in the world than we recognize, because it gets expressed in ways that some people aren't even, that some people will get, but many others won't. And there are people who are loving really hard, if you will, and they're not, it's not being received in the same way.
Well, it is, yes, it is. And it is a language. It's like, if we don't understand it, then we don't value it or honor it in the same way. And,
Or we give up. I mean, I was just thinking of if someone's speaking to me in a different language other than English, then after a while, I mean, what am I supposed to do? I don't get it, right?
Mhm.
And so unless I really go and learn about that so that I can understand it, it doesn't click. Nothing happens. There isn't real communication.
Well, and I think it's reminding me a lot of when we used to work with couples, and not used to, when we work with couples, and on the marriage thing, when we were doing the marrying couples, and we said, how you do your marriage is how you'll do your relationship. And what we meant by that is, everybody playing an equal part in the planning and in the desire for what happens, as opposed to it just being the bride's day. But where I'm going with this is that is a language as well, because I think that, if your partner shuts down to allow you to, just do your thing, then you're cutting off their needs and their desires. And I mean, I think that happens throughout relationships, right? If we don't understand, in the beginning where we're coming from or the differences, then there's that, that possibility of missing each other.
And there really could be, for instance, in a wedding situation like that, where somebody goes, "Hey, whatever you want." That could be an attempt to be loving, to say whatever you want. Whereas the other person's like, "Well, I want you to be interested." And I think that's where these things, we miss each other. Hey, I want you to be a part of it. I want you to help me with this. I want you to tell me what you think. I want to hear your opinion. And when we talk about that in terms of weddings versus how you are when you're actual marriage, that if we just step back and let someone else do something, eventually that probably is going to become a real negative, because then we're not invested in the same way. Even if our original goal was to be loving and open and allowing.
Right. Well, we're not only not as invested, but I mean, yes. And if we're paying attention to our partner's love language or love needs, or their whatever, however we communicate that, and if we're able to support that or be supportive around that, even if it means making adjustments on our end, then we're nurturing and we're feeding it, we're fueling the relationship, as opposed to giving distance. So the more we support and feed in and allow and learn to support our partners in that way, then our relationships become stronger, because that person is then more willing to support your way, so it becomes more mutual, more reciprocal. I think we saw that in our interview with O'Neill and Randy a few weeks ago on their
25 years together. Yeah.
I mean, but it was, you could feel and see and hear the evolution throughout time, that, it may not have always been like that, but they're learning to support each other in that way. And I think that's really great. I think we do that sometimes.
Mhm.
I mean, I think we do it. I think we do it a lot, and it's not without some angst and turmoil sometimes.
Mhm.
What do you think?
Mhm.
I got to tell you, this
Yeah.
camera thing is driving me crazy. I'm sorry. I've got to put my hand up because I've got to try to get taller because I don't like being like I'm sitting under your bra bosom line. Okay, sorry.
Where did you go?
I
Oh,
know.
there you are.
Oh, look at
Oh,
me
that's
now.
much better. Oh, look how tall you are. Wow. Yeah, I think so. I think you're right. And all of these things are a learning process. Um, Let me ask you this question. You said that you did the one that had the percentages, but you didn't get it out. Did your top one or two, were they like way higher than the others, or were they pretty
I didn't
close?
look at it that much. I thought I would look at it more with you, and I didn't. I don't
Oh,
know. Why do you think that I'm
okay.
more of one
No,
thing
I
than?
was just curious because of how mine came out, really.
So how did yours
Because
come out?
acts of service was 29%, and quality time was 26%. So those two are not that far off. They're pretty even. And then words of affirmation were 23%. So again, staying pretty close. Then we dropped to 16 and 6 for the last two, so then there's where the big gaps come in. But it was interesting to me how balanced I was between those three.
Yeah, let me just tell you, that's an illusion.
That's an illusion?
I think so. And I'm not just saying for you, but I had a hard time with the question sometimes because, like,
Yeah.
you know, what's important to me and what I have and do in a relationship now is kind of different. So, like, some of the things, like, is it important? Like, when I don't remember exactly, but for example, if they're asking me, is it important to you that your partner, say sweet, loving things to you?
Or
Or, so is it important to me, or is it happening in my relationship, and is it important to me now? Like, I mean, on some levels, I could balance it out with, like, it didn't have to be the most, like, when it was coupled with another thing to decide, it didn't have to be that because I knew that I had it in a different area. You know what I mean? It's like, I feel like answering these questions as a single person like years ago would have been a different
oh,
thing.
I think it might have been, but also this is like any of these psychological type tests where you have to discern between two things. It's not a real choice.
Right.
You know,
Well, I
do you want to eat lunch or do you want to go to the movies? I mean, it's like yes.
right. No, I know, but I don't know. Like, so on my test, the next thing was to take the top 6 of the love needs that I identified before and rank them into there was a whole list of them, like what's important, and you had to rank them from 1 to 10. And so to rank them into the your top 6, which was really challenging because, like, so they gave you things like unconditional love and complete trust, and well, to me, if I have unconditional love, there's pretty much complete trust in there. You know what I mean? So it's like, I was like, if I give both of those a 10, then I'm going to have to pick it as one of my top ones, but it's really part of my first one. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was
That's
interesting.
funny.
So when I identified my top 6 um, ways for it, so this is my top 6 ways for my partner to show their love. It was unconditional love and respect, trust, a non-sexual display of affection, and a sincere display of appreciation, like compliments, things like that. That was one. Spiritual intimacy, sexual intimacy, and quality time together, like date nights and walks and dinners and cards and gifts and all of those things. Those were my top 6. So interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you want to send that along?
What do you mean?
Send it on over so I can review it.
Take a note. No, but I mean, it is interesting narrowing it down, and like the things that, like, I mean, I didn't give anything under a 5 on this list, but like, like I gave financial provisions a 5. I gave yard work and home maintenance a 5. Sorry, but but I mean, but not that, I mean, which is, again, not that it's not important to me, but in the big scheme of things, if I didn't have a partner, that did yard work and maintenance at home, I wouldn't be like, that's a deal breaker.
Right.
I mean, the fact that you do that and that you like to do that and that you're aware of that, sure, that's all a bonus. I mean, on some level, to me, that goes into unconditional love. Just kidding. No, but you know what I mean? It goes in, it filters out into just the consciousness. And like they had one on there that was like, good parent to our kids. Well, obviously that would be a 10, but that's not what's in, that's not here now.
Oh, right. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
So it was interesting. Yeah. So I know you didn't do this test, so you didn't do that. So there you have it. I mean, you didn't do it. I don't know if you can do it off the top of your head, like what's important to you. I can redo the list, but I could probably guess what's important to you.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's interesting though to really examine what is important. And like you said, as we go through life, those things shift and morph and change depending on situations. Some of them do, at least.
Well,
Some
I mean,
of
I think
them
it'd be
pretty
great
consistent.
I think it'd be great if you looked at this, because I think it's interesting to do. And then the next thing was, so where could a small amount of focus make a big change? What are like the, I don't know, 3 areas you would like to see more attention on? And it went to that, and so that was interesting, because I think out of your 6 top ones, and yeah, I mean, it was interesting to. I think the ones I wanted more attention on was 4, 5, 6. Extension of 3. So 3. Well, the third one I picked was a non-sexual display of affection, and that means just compliments and holding hands, those kind of things, and like just appreciating in small ways like that. And then what I said was that the extension of that would really enhance the areas that I said I'd work on, which was 4, 5, and 6, which was the spiritual intimacy, sexual intimacy. I put those in the same thing, but and quality time together, which makes sense, right? I mean, because And one thing that I did read off of that other test, I remember it said that I like to be mentally stimulated. And that's always, I mean, I have always said that, if you want to be with me, you're going to have to get me wet between the ears first, because it's really, because that's just the way it is. I mean, it's that, I don't know, without going into my, what happened as a child mode.
Well, I think for many people, just being able to relate to someone on an intellectual level, on a deep emotional level, on a deep spiritual level, all those things are about seeing something that's beyond the surface. For me, it falls into the intelligence category at some level, because it's someone's interest and ability to go deeper.
Right.
And I think that's what really shows up. And I think that's common for a lot of us, that's really important. That's what takes us to any other physical levels or anything else, is when we know that we're connecting on this level that's really deep somehow. Even if, and an intellectual level, even if it's a level of arguing with somebody in a certain way, or having a discussion with somebody around a topic that you don't agree on, but that the other person has valid, rational ideas around.
Right. Right. Yeah. Well, I really did like this test, because I mean, after this particular point, then it says to discuss the answers with my partner, and and then there's action steps to take. And I believe, I don't know, one of the places that I went to is like sending you things to do every day, which, I don't, like a 30-day challenge. And I think what's good about that is I think it's good to reboot your relationship. I think it's good to, really look at this from a different perspective, and not as criticism, not as, something to change or to fix, but a way to really go deeper and to take your commitments to a different level, to commit really, like to being committed to the movement, and to making sure that your partner's okay. I mean, when you're sick in bed or I'm sick in bed, we make sure each other has soup or has water or has what it needs. Well, it's no different for our relationship, right? Or for our spiritual practice, or for
Yeah. And the reality is we have to do it for ourselves / for the relationship, for the other person, because I think when we don't do that, then we start doing the thing where we want the other person to change, and that doesn't change our relationship. When we just want someone else to be different than they are, we have to look at, well, where are we living up to this process?
Yeah. And I actually, when being the producer today, when I was looking through the quotes and things we had, getting rid of things from our older shows, there's this quote, and it says, "One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things."
There you go.
And I think that's so pertinent to life. I mean, but to relationships especially, and to recommit to that every day, because it really, we're talking about our love relationship, but even our relationships with our kids or our boss or anybody, how often do we take in the old situation? I mean, we have teenagers, so we take it in every day. You know what I mean? I mean, if something has gone wrong the night before, I wake up and I still hold that person, that child in the same place of, well, you didn't do it right yesterday, so today, as opposed to being able to live from, it's a new day. I truly know that you are capable and able to do this. And I think the same is true in our partnerships, with our work, our bosses, our whoever, and it doesn't
Yeah.
have to be a negative situation. I mean, even just the places, and you and I have had this, even just the places where we've allowed people in workshops or people we're working with to go beyond and do that thing they thought they couldn't do, because we didn't jump in and save them or do it or tell them how, but they really stepped in. And I think, that's the key, I think, to a healthy relationship is, and not just jargon, but really being able to remember that. And I know with us, I say that to you all the time, in that, like when Gil's having a moment and I'm like, Gil, yo, bruh, I'm on your side, but I'm on your side. I'm on your team. Nothing has changed. I'm not trying to do anything to him or get him to do something. I'm wanting him to remember I'm your support. I'm here for you. And we forget that sometimes, just based on everyday life experiences.
Well, I love this idea that it's a new way of seeing things, because that's what it all is. It's all about us reconfiguring how we're seeing our life and evaluating it, and both the type of judgments we make and the movement away from making judgments about our life and our partners and our relationships. So, wow. All right.
All right. It's Valentine's Day, boo.
It is. Happy Valentine's Day. I miss you.
I miss you too. And we miss all of you. We're glad you're here with us today. And we hope that, it's just a day. I know a lot. It really is. But, let's reframe it. Just like they created Valentine's Day, let's reframe it. I love in Mexico and South America that it's a day. It's not all about couples. It's a day that celebrates friendship and love in that way. So we just invite you to reframe it or claim it in any way that feels good to you. And whatever you do, just remember that it's all about the love. So we love you, and we're grateful for you being here and anchoring us in this show where we were a little off kilter there in the beginning, but we're back. The Olmsteads are back. Okay, so take it out into the week, and you know what to do with it. Rock the love, y'all. Yeah. See you next.
Oh, we're back. Okay, goodbye.
A practical prayer is a prayer that works.
These discussions between Reverend Bill Marchioni and Carol Lawrence dive into the details of how it works and how to work it.
Reverend Bill is a New Thought minister and the author of Practical Prayer for Real Results.
Your new life begins with a new thought.
Carol Lawrence is on a spiritual quest, finding the New Thought teaching after decades on the pulpit in 3 different traditional denominations.
I've got some questions.
Together, they're exploring the philosophy and activities that come together from many of the world's religions to create the practical spirituality that is New Thought.